Did they teach you about Black history in the United States? Like, are your parents Black American?
Yeah, my mom is Black. My father was Black.
No, I'm asking, were they born in the United States?
No, because I wasn't born there.
Oh, so you guys are all from Angola?
Yes. But again, I like I told you earlier, right? Trying to protest.
Sources are not, you're not able to cite your sources.
In
Please
New York.
go sit down.
Yeah, that's the truth.
It's not the truth. It's not the truth. It's not the truth. Nothing you say is actually the truth. Nothing. You're not even American. You're not even a Black American. As the daughter of an immigrant, it is imperative that Black people from other places understand the disparate difference that they exist from Black people in the United States. It is not the same. Period. And ultimately, the best effort that we can do as a diaspora is to lead in understanding, not in judgment. So when I am talking to somebody from Sudan, from the Congo, from Angola, I am listening to understand their experience, not to undermine it. And I refuse to allow anybody from Grenada, from Angola, from any other place to come and try to undermine the experience of Black Americans.
Do you think, like, Africans living in, America, right? Do you think they have the right to talk about African Americans or whatever situation that all of us are facing in America?
That all of us are facing in America?
Yeah, or maybe do you think, like, based on the video, right, do you think Africans have the right to talk about the issues Blacks are facing in America?
Okay. One question though: Are they from Africa and migrated to America, or they were born here, like everything?
Yeah, I would say like both, because even if you were born here, you're still African, right?
I say
your roots.
If you're from Africa and you migrate to America, you do not have the right to speak on anything and how we act and receive things in America. No.
Why?
Because we grew up in two different spaces. Y'all grew up in a place where it's predominantly us, African men, African women, all that. We grew up in a place where it's diverse. So they're Africans, the way we react to things, like Africans, most Africans will touch a Mexican or a white person's hair and, just be curious. We don't do that here because we know that back then our people that was done to us. White people, they basically felt like it was their rights to touch on us and just do things and examine us, and we were going to be great slaves, you may say. Africans don't think like that because guess what? They think from a space of where everybody loves each other, we're innocent, it's pure. But America, we have to demand our respect. We have to demand it from people who are not even our people. So Africans that are migrating to America, no. You guys question it, not saying specifically you, but from experience, they question Africans. They question us. Like, why do you react like this? Why do you say this? Why do you do this? Because we are grown up and taught different ways. We are taught to defend, rebel when needed and when necessary. Africans don't really rebel unless, I want to say you guys are very peaceful. You guys are very no harm, no nothing, because I feel like you guys, yes, your ancestors may have gone through it, but I don't think you guys specifically go through the hate and the division that we go through while we're here. If in Africa, it's different. Now, if you're African American, African parents, but you're African and you're born here in America, speak on it because you know what's going on. You see what's going on. You can relate. Not saying that Africans can't completely relate, but majority of the things that we go through in America, they're just new. You guys are new here. Learn it. Now, it's going to be a little difficult. I guess you guys could learn America as well. You can be here for 12, 15, 20 years. But still, it's like, I still say, don't speak on it unless you really, really, really have seen and been through the things that we've been through here in America. So, no.
So let's say somebody who has lived in America for like 10 years, 15 years, I would say to an extent the person has experienced a lot.
Yeah.
So in situations like that, like imagine, right, when all of us are standing, they see us as one, right? I don't really like using the word Black. Anywhere that you ask me, I'm African, right? Because I feel like it's just different shades of dark, right? But I don't see myself. So I know like our brothers here, mostly prefer calling themselves Black. Yeah, and I understand how it started, way back, and really with it, but it's just different shades of dark, whatever. But yet again, we say African. So when you hear somebody saying like I'm African, you don't see Africans saying I'm Black mostly. It's like they say that I'm African, then they will just define it further and say I'm Nigerian or Ghanaian or from Senegal, or like, you get it. But at the end of the day, if I've been here for like 10, 15 years, I think I have a right to pass certain, especially if I'm living, let's just say I live in like, predominantly, for, sake of conversation in your areas and, black areas, whatever. I see the issues that like, happens or whatever that happens every day for the past 10, 15 years. So if I'm passing a comment, like sometimes I've imagine 15 years, right? Yeah. There are teenagers that are around that age that I've seen them, grow up in that, like, in that community or whatever. So I have the right to say, okay, I saw him growing up, and at some point, he started, gang banging or doing whatever. Yeah. So if I'm passing a comment, I know what I'm saying. I wouldn't say like, I understand the system plays a part, but I'm just saying I see certain things that it affects me too. But if they say I can't pass a comment, I'm not saying somebody who has been here for like a year or two. Yeah. I'm just saying like,
Yeah, okay.
You get what I'm trying to say?
For someone, who's been here for, a great amount of years, for sure, I would say yes. You can speak on the way the American lifestyle is, whether it's with African Americans or Black Americans. Yes, you can speak on it because you've experienced it. You have knowledge on it. You have emotions from this. Anyone looking outside, looking in, just because we're the same color and we same body shapes, that doesn't go far enough for me because that's just the image. That's the exterior. I need something that's more interior because it's unequivocally okay for someone who has nothing to do with American ways. You can't speak on us, but if you've been here for some time, for sure, you're more than welcome to educate the world on what you've been seeing and doing.
Yeah, to piggyback to what you just said earlier about like Africans are kind of like, nice and whatever. Yes. I think, as
certain ones. Okay. You guys are different countries out there.
It's where we're from and culture, tradition plays a part. But yet again, like we don't really stay in, like, imagine you're coming from, a country whereby the government, shitty, they don't support whatever. We don't stay in victimhood. Yeah. That is us, mostly. So we try most of the time we try to find our ways through stuff, to figure it on your own. Because when you stay in that victim mode, it's like now you're waiting for the government to come do something for you, and you have to feed your family. You have to do stuff. You got responsibility. So when it gets to that point, we don't just stay. We might criticize the government, but we still have to find our way. Yeah, you get it. So I think that's just the difference. So I'm not saying like I see the struggles here, the redlining, when you go apply for loan, like it's there, it's shadowed a little bit. Yeah. It's shadowed a little bit, but it's still, happening. But I'm just saying, imagine if all Africans, which we clearly see, if we are, we keep going through that cycle about like victimhood, about like, slavery and what they did to us, we would never move forward as Africans. Yeah. I'm saying in Africa. Okay. Yeah. So like when we make that comparison here, don't get me wrong, still they play like we still have that colonial whatever thing happening in Africa, so it's the same thing like systematic in America here too, right? So I'm just saying, if we are passing the comment, just like how you said, Africans are nice, I think we almost share the same thing, but it's not about being nice, it's about like, okay, I found myself here. Yeah. I started from zero. Yeah. No family, nothing from here, right? Yeah. So how, like, imagine, right, you that have family here, you have, I'm not saying it's easy for you, right? But I came from somewhere, from zero, climbing up. I'm not there yet, but I'm still climbing. So it shouldn't be a hate, like as if, they because when I got, okay, you know what? They say when you get here, they give you free money. I migrated here.
I don't know.
No, that's some people say, and, they give you 700 credit score, whatever. To me personally, I've not experienced that. Nobody gave me money. Yeah. I have to start from the scratch. Dream. Yeah, I have to start from the scratch. So that narrative, that propaganda, whatever that they say outside, I don't think is true because from my personal experience, nobody gave me money. Okay, not even the ones who live here. I don't think majority of us has received money too, unless you gotta, be very poor. They want us at our lowest, which makes sense because you want to give to the lowest so they can get a head start, a little jump, push. I want to say, but it almost boils down to like trying to divide us. Yes, it's like, it? but we got to be honest. There is a little and sometimes division is needed so you can understand two different perspectives. Not saying that it's supposed to be like that forever, but division comes to, it's a word, and I have a brain fart. Division always leads to, it's a word. I want to say combining. I don't think that's the terminology I want to use, but unity or what? Unity. Division always will lead into unity some way, somehow, depending on the situation. Because if you get unity, it starts where between divisions. So, me personally, I just think
it's not a good thing to have all the time, majority of the time, but it's definitely a necessity when it comes to certain things, because you don't want to understand things from a one-sided point of view within majority of whether it's a food debate, a culture debate, housing debate, financial debate. It needs to be some type of division to understand, to get to unity. It doesn't have to, but it's definitely a way that most people work with. Like Africans, how we have our talk about Africans and Americans. Most people say, no, you should get it. Like Americans, we can't speak on how life is out there in Africa. We will never really probably understand it the way you guys do. Mm-hmm. Because we reached a certain like state in America financially, how to handle our lively stability. We grew into a different way on how to handle our own instead of the way you guys did. You guys grew up in more, I would say, more struggle. Not all Africans, but majority of Africans. Oh yeah,
I've heard that word before.
More struggle. I say struggle meaning yes, because like Togo, man, I have friends who spoken from about Togo government. Terrible, and they got it out the mud on their own struggle, leaving homes to get it out the mud by themselves and making a name for themselves, and not really just taking that risk to just start over. I feel like Americans, we really don't do that risk to start over and get it by our own until we're 18 or until we kicked out the house or until the government says this is the age where you can get kicked out. This is when you're going. Yeah.
So based on that comment, right? Mm-hmm. Who got it the easiest?
Americans.
Okay. But you see, I'm not saying they don't have the right to complain, but I think they overly complain. So you see, Africans, right? So imagine in Africa, right? We don't
complain about what they have, like what they're in. They can't complain about something that they're not in.
No, I get it. But I'm just saying, right? So I think I have to do justice to this before we move to the next, video. Africans, right? Mm-hmm. When you look at mostly some of the shitty jobs in America, Africans are doing it. Like if I say Africans, I'm not thinking like Africans from Africa. So when I say when we come, like if I say
any jobs that Africans really do, stereotypically, I don't want to think it.
Okay,
but cooking,
so
I don't want to say that.
There are a lot of people that do labor jobs, utility, working in clothing store. They be paying them shitty.
Familiar with that one.
Yeah, driving taxi, driving Uber. I'm not even that is not even shitty, but I'm just saying people do the hard labor, like they put in more hours, like 12 hours, 15 hours to be able to make here, and they got so it's like even with the Africans that migrated and they still have to go to school. True, some of them have to jog and they have family back at home to support. I've seen a friend of mine, she's Nigerian. When she first got here, immigration status was kind of shitty. I saw the hustle, man. Mm-hmm. She started, how she figured it out, I don't know, but yet again, she was able to get her citizenship, and she still went to school.
That's beautiful.
She's a nurse right now.
The hard work is different from America
and the struggle, she used to call me complaining about, what she's going through and, how, and she didn't even have papers then. Imagine the faces that she went in. Sometimes she could meet even brothers whereby maybe they say they'll help her, but they just want to, get into her pants or whatever. So it's the struggle is there. Sometimes Africans don't talk about it, but we don't get it easy or you don't find it easy. We go through hell to get where we are. So a lot of times people see what is on the outside. Like, you've made it. Oh, you got here, they gave you a check, they whatever. We don't really talk about what we go through in America too, but we really go through struggle, especially when it starts from zero.
Yes. I had one person that was very close to me who's still going through that exact situation without the schooling. That person works hard to the core, like working 2-3 jobs, and then has no sleep, only has 4 to 6 hours of sleep. It's just, Africans are very strong. I want to say, leave it at that part, because, child, I complain, but
it's not strong. You can equally do it.
And then Gaza, even people in that's not in America. It's like these wars and these things is just crazy because we can't speak on anything, and I feel like we complain a little, too much. Now that I'm saying it out loud, because
everybody has the right to complain at the end of the day, but I feel like at some point the struggle is real for everybody in Africa, in America, whatever. But I think sometimes we can't complain too much. You just have to get up and do something. Mm-hmm. You get it? So what I've noticed personally, if you want my personal opinion,
Yeah.
Personally, I've seen some of our, if I say I'm using black because most of our blacks, they prefer using black. Let's just say the black Americans here.
I'm not offended.
Our brothers, okay. So because I prefer saying Africans and African Americans actually.
They get it though.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I see some people that put in the work. I have a personal friend I met him at GYC. He went through the struggle. He's still in there, but dude is making moves.
Yeah.
It got to a point he nearly gave up. So it's not easy for some of our, brothers here too, right? But at the end of the day, what I've noticed is some people just want the easy life. They just want to get the government checks or whatever, and they don't want to put in no work.
Yeah.
And we don't I'm not saying some Africans do get that check depending on their situation, but I'm just saying if you want to if you are determined to elevate or maybe level up to a certain extent, because you can't just say you're making $30,000 every year and you're comfortable. When the kids come in and the family, whatever, the money's not enough.
Yeah, you can't even get the life that you really want. I want kids right now. I ain't gonna lie. $50,000 a year, cool for one person, but with kids, it's barely cool for one person. Let's just be real.
That's if you want to be taking trips.
No,
if you want to be
real.
taking trips. Yeah, so I see it's but I feel like, at the end of the day, some of our, both, brothers and sisters, not to use the victim mode or whatever, that thing is there, but yet again, some of them just, I would say comfortable.
Me, very so me. I want to say a 2-second story. I had African friend who literally worked at these little restaurant jobs back to back to back to back just to make their money. Here, me, currently jobless, but still, we have. But anyway,
you'll get
and
it.
Yes, and I feel like I got it today. I went to an interview, but anyway,
beautiful.
I just feel like that person. I'm not willing. I don't want to work at no Chipotle. I don't want to work at no little restaurant. I'm sorry, because I feel like I've been so used to a certain point of making money, the amount that I've never really made before. Going down to a payment then having a car or a house, going down to a payment that's, less than what I've been getting used to. It just sucks. But that person, African, said, I don't care what it is I'm making. I need a job. I need a job. I don't care if it's $10, $15, $12. It's just.
You need, because you got bills, you have to pay your, rent, your mortgage or whatever.
Child, yes. The American life is not beautiful the way it seems to be, especially Chicago. But.
Oh yeah, so that we are saying that to our Africans in Africa. They think it's all rosy, but it's not like that.
It ain't.
For the Africans,
especially Chicago and New York and Cali.
It's hard.
It's beyond hard. It's like we getting cheated. So trying to fight for justice is not easy, especially with the jobs you want.